In this project, we recognize and analyze how all types of functions are present on our daily life situations and problems, shown in different ways and forms like tabular, graphical, symbolic, and textual. The objective was to understand linear and quadratic and polynomial functions and their properties such as domain, range, dependent and independent variables, relevant data, and graphs. The materials and functions. For this project, we gather information from different sources like articles of World Matters and programs like Excel, Desmos for graphing some of our functions.
First of all, we gathered and showed 5 functions we found on the article of emissions of carbon dioxide. First, these functions were presented on a table and we changed them to an equation on the form of y equals mx plus b. Then, we were asked to identify the 4 types in which a function can be presented, which are verbal, tabular, graphic, and symbolic, and also to recognize the domain, which is the interval or to which extent the value of the graph covers the x value.
Most of our functions and useful information for this project were found on the section of economy and health. Due to the coronavirus and all the frequent changes that our world is having thanks to this global pandemic, statistics on how the economy of our world is changing, how quarantine and some people losing their jobs is having a big effect on the global economy.
Then, we were asked to identify the dependent and independent variables, which basically the independent variable, which is basically the variable that stands alone and isn't changed by other variables. On the other hand, the dependent variable is the one, as its name says, depends on the independent one. Then, the most important part of our project, in which we needed to select a single function and translate or represent it to different ways, and also to identify its properties. Our situation was the next one. A company with a brand of clothing receives a daily income of $20,000 per day from their sales on their branch offices, but also needs to pay an extra tax of $1,000 from the rent of both branch offices. Originally, our function was presented on a verbal way, and then we changed it to the algebraic language and created the equation fx equals $20,000 x minus 1,000 by identifying the independent variable, which were the days that needed to be multiplied by 20,000 because that was the amount of money the company gained daily, but also the company paid a tax, which was a loss, so we needed to raise 1,000.
With the information provided, we could realize that our function was linear and remained a constant increase and also a little constant decrease on its value. Also, we realized that most of the articles of the newspaper explains or present this information verbally, and most of the time uses percentages, because most of the time the target audience are adults, and this type of information is very clear and objective. But for people that are more visual, the information represented in a graphic or even on a tabular form will be more efficient, organized, and the information will be easier to understand. Along this project, due to the practice, we really improved a lot and developed new strategies working on teams by being more organized and dynamic with my classmates. We achieved this by listening to our ideas and arrange those ideas to work fast and in the best way.
In conclusion, we think that the purpose of this project, besides recognizing the different type of functions and identifying all these factors like the variables, range, domain, etc., this project was also about realizing how math and everything we learn in class is present in our daily life problems and situations.